everyone. It's very exciting today for having Nick here today with Globevisa here. And Nick is one of the top U.S. immigration lawyer and a real expert of EB-5. So hi, Nick. Please make a very brief introduction to our audience.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here today in Globe's offices. Miller Mayer and Globe have worked together for many years, helping our mutual clients achieve their immigration dreams. And it's a great honor to work with an organization as sophisticated as Globevisa. Miller Mayer has been involved in the EB-5 industry since the program that started way back in the 1990s. We've filed over 8,000 I-526 petitions, making us by volume probably one of the largest EB-5 immigration law firms in the world.
Yes, so today we'll talk some details things, some breaking news about EB-5, about America, about USCIS. So the first question, Nick, I want to talk that we see that new EB-5 has been for 3 years almost. So as an expert, do you share some information with us? How many families have applied under the new law, and how many had already get the green card successfully?
Yeah, it's been a great success, and USCIS has been doing a very good job of adjudicating and approving EB-5 petitions that are filed pursuant to the new EB-5 Reform and Integrity Act. And we are now beginning to see some of those cases show up at the consulate for the issuance of visas. So far, we've had well over 100 cases that have gone to the consulate and for which visas have been issued. And there have been probably close to about 7,500 cases filed in the new set-aside category. So it's been tremendously successful, and USCIS has done a good job of putting resources into adjudicating those cases within the timeframes that Congress intended. So that's very good.
How about the successful rate of the new law?
So far, it's close to 100%. So our law firm, I'm glad to say, has had a 100% success rate so far on every Reform and Integrity Act case. So we're very pleased with that. We hope that trend continues.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, USCIS is approving about 97% of cases. So that's a pretty high approval rate. That has fluctuated more over time, but it seems like people are filing very sophisticated and very clean cases. So that's a good thing also for the industry.
Also for Globevisa, we have 100% approval rate for now. Yeah. Besides the reserve visa, could you share some other key difference between the old law and new law of EB-5?
Yeah, there are a lot of really good differences. I just want to focus on the name of the law to give people an idea about what the law is really all about. It's called the EB-5 Reform and Integrity Act. And that's what Congress wanted to do. They wanted to take EB-5, which was a very mature and successful program, and make it better. They wanted to take it to the next level, and they did a very good job of doing that by creating new reporting obligations on the part of regional centers, additional oversight on the part of how EB-5 funds are used by regional centers, greater reporting obligations about principals who are involved in regional centers or even tangentially involved in regional centers. And of course, the end goal of all of these changes are meant to make EB-5 better. And I think Congress did a very good job in that.
So also you work with thousands of EB-5 families, applicants. What do they usually have in common? So what are those families looking for?
So that question touches on my own personal immigration history because I too am an immigrant. I immigrated from Denmark with my family in 1977 to the United States. And we got a green card. I believe my father got it in the EB-3 category as a professional chef. So why did we leave Denmark? We left Denmark, I think, for opportunities for the children, myself included, and I ended up going to Berkeley and Boston University, and all of that was good. And then I think also economic opportunity and generally global mobility. And so I think the things that were true then for my family are true for families that I meet and that I represent today. People are looking for educational and professional opportunities for their children. That's usually one of the primary reasons people are looking at EB-5. Then they're also looking for economic and investment stability and opportunities. And then generally global mobility, the ability to live where you want, when you want. I think in today's world, that's very important.
We have a lot of families living in the United States now. For I think the EB-5 new law can bring the concurrent filing to make more benefit, right?
Concurrent filing is a really great change that came about because of the RIA, the Reform and Integrity Act. Before, you had to wait for an I-526 to be approved before you really could get any kind of immigration benefit. But now, because of concurrent filing, when you file the I-526 e-petition, you can also file for work and travel authorization, these interim benefits that you get while you're waiting for your green card to be issued. They're tremendously powerful. Look, if you think about what a green card really is, philosophically, it's the right to live and work in the United States. And that's what you get with concurrent filing. You're really getting the green card benefits before you get the green card.
Yeah. Also for the children education, they can go to school with concurrent filing, right?
Yes, exactly. So they can enroll in school and begin to think about their future in ways they probably wouldn't if they were not able to concurrently file.
Yeah. But for those families we meet, some families, their children who are over 18 years old or even close to 21 years old. So is there any difference between consulate statutes and USCIS adjustment statutes?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question because this is, of course, a real issue for families who have kids that are getting closer to aging out. So generally speaking, for a child to be eligible to accompany their parents, they have to continue to be a child, which means being under 21. There are some differences, though, in how the consulate treats filings and how the USCIS treats filings. And it turns out that the USCIS has a more liberal policy that can lock in a child's age if a visa is available under either Chart A or Chart B, and that's not possible to do under consular processing. So the risk that a child ages out is actually greater for somebody who's consular processing than somebody who is concurrently filing. It's always, of course, difficult to choose whether maybe the child themselves are the principal applicants, or in some cases, if the family has sufficient funds and there's another child, you can even file 2 petitions if you want to eliminate the risk. So these are the kinds of strategy decisions families will need to think about.
Okay. Next, we want to move the topic to backlog. We see the USCIS website, they have official warning about the backlog happening this year of EB-5 new law. So how long do you predict that backlog will happen?
I think it'll happen maybe in the 3rd or 4th quarter of this year. It's very difficult to say exactly when it will happen, but it is notable that it was mentioned in the January visa bulletin. So we do think that a backlog is on the horizon, probably for Chinese nationals in the high unemployment area. But again, we won't really know for sure, of course, until the State Department makes a formal announcement in a visa bulletin.
There still have some breaking news about EB-5 because in the past months, there have been many breaking news related to EB-5, such as the retrogression happened, such as the 5 million golden card. I think you must know that. So,
yes, I've heard of a thing or two.
Many people worry about the instability of EB-5. So could you share some opinion about is it a very risky time for EB-5 now?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And I understand that there's a lot of uncertainty because a lot of things have been said, but very little detail has been released. I think that it's notable, first of all, that the Trump administration has taken an interest in citizenship by immigration. That in and of itself shows that the administration recognizes the value of foreign individuals investing money into the U.S. as a concept. So that's actually a very good thing that I think some people forget when they talk about, well, what does the gold card mean that EB-5 is going to go away? Not necessarily. I think that there is a way that the gold card can coexist with EB-5, and many people believe that because the Trump administration is thinking about these kinds of issues now, we can actually begin to have a dialogue, also perhaps about how the EB-5 program can be improved. Now, there is, of course, uncertainty. I can't say for sure that that is going to happen or how the policy may evolve or be unveiled by the Trump administration. But we can talk about some facts. The first fact is that President Trump cannot make legislation in a press conference. So while he said some things about the gold card in 2 or 3 public settings, none of those make law. In order to change the immigration law and the tax law, Congress has to take action. So that hasn't happened yet. And what does that mean? That means that the law of the land, the law that currently applies to EB-5, has not changed. And that law is what we were talking about earlier. It's the EB-5 Reform and Integrity Act. So if that is the law, what does that law say? It has a very interesting provision in it called the grandfathering provision, which basically says that any petition filed before September 30th, 2026 will still be adjudicated, even if the EB-5 program goes away at a future date. So I think there is no question that there is an opportunity in time between today and September 30th, 2026 for individuals that want to file in EB-5. After September 30th, 2026, it becomes more difficult to predict because there's less certainty. But before that, I believe we have very clear certainty. We know what the law is, and I think it's perfectly reasonable and appropriate for individuals to rely on the law.
We also see the USCIS do a lot of actions, like the USCIS recently changed their director, and they also announced that they will start the AI system to settle the cases. We're just worried about this some effect of EB-5, just like lower the speed or cause some RFE happen.
I think it's a little premature to conclude that those things will necessarily happen. The new director is coming back to the USCIS. He actually worked for the USCIS before, obviously in a different capacity, but focused on enforcement and increase of efficiency. That was one of his charges. So, we see changes under his leadership, but it's not a foregone conclusion that those changes would mean things run more slowly. With respect to AI, also generally speaking, as somebody who is utilizing now AI in our law firm in ways to make things more efficient, we hope that USCIS's utilization of AI will make their process perhaps more efficient. Depending on how they deploy it and the level of sophistication the AI functionality has, maybe mean more RFEs if it is able to pick up inconsistencies, for example, between prior visa applications and EB-5 applications. But on the other hand, it may also eliminate potential issues, may be able to compare certain forms or certain information and conclude that that is not an issue that's right for RFE. So I think it's great that they are looking at AI. I believe that AI can make USCIS a more efficient organization, and it should utilize certainly the technology and the benefits of that technology in a positive way. Exactly how it's going to impact adjudication time, we'll have to wait and see.
I hope there be a good way for USCIS. They may choose the better way to settle the cases. Okay, so next we're talking something about the project. So we all know that the project safety is very important for all the investors. So, but it's very difficult to our ordinary people to judge whether is the project safe or not safe. So, could you share some basic ways to how we can check if the project is safe or not?
Yeah, so I'm an immigration lawyer, so my answer to this question is always going to be qualified by that observation that I analyze projects principally for immigration risk and not so much for investment risk. But of course, investment risk and immigration risk are intertwined in many ways in EB-5. Generally, we're looking at job creation. That's a very important component because that is the way that an individual gets approval of their permanent green card. So we want to be sure to see that a project is going to go forward, perhaps that it has all of the necessary permits, that all of the funding is in place. Those are all very important elements to make sure that the project, in fact, will go forward and create the jobs. But even before you get to that, I think it's important to look at the regional center itself. What is the regional center's experience in EB-5? What is their track record? And to make sure that the regional center principals have experience structuring projects that are compliant. This is very important because there is some complexity to EB-5, both immigration and investment.
Thank you so much for joining us today and sharing us with your expertise. Thanks to everyone to listening today, and don't forget to subscribe and you will see more interesting conversation waiting for you.